Today I'm walking through the 19mm high-pressure fuel line socket 3/8-inch drive. This is a focus tool for injector line horn nuts on common rail diesel and some gas direct injection setups. I'm showing a screen recording so you can see specs, photos, and key details up close. Quick note, I can't film the unit on the bench today, so we'll keep it practical and on screen. You will find a link to purchase this and other models at a discount in the description below the video. You can place your order right now. Let's start with what this tool is and why it exists.
Did you know that the best discounts on Amazon last only a few hours? That's why I launched 2 channels where I publish the highest discounts on Amazon products in real time every day. Follow the link in the description and subscribe to our Threads and Telegram channels right now to consistently save money on your everyday purchases.
Injector line nuts sit deep in cramped engine bays. Regular 19mm sockets are too thick and open-ended wrenches can round soft fittings. This socket has a thin wall and a profile made to clear lines in rails while gripping the nut flats. The 3/8-inch square drive keeps it compact so you can sneak a ratchet or torque wrench past harnesses, heat shields, and pump housings. Build quality matters here. The examples I've handled have a solid, dense feel, with a uniform finish and clean broaching inside the 19mm hex. The mouth is chamfered just enough to start on the nut without slipping, but not so much that it reduces contact. Wall thickness is slim for access, yet not flimsy. If you're used to cheap thin wall sockets that bell out, this feels stiffer. Edges are consistent and there's no burr that would scratch the line. Fitment is the make or break point. On typical Bosch-style common rail injectors, the 19mm size is standard for the high-pressure line nuts. It slides over cleanly and seats fully on the flats. If your platform uses a 17mm or 21mm, this isn't the right size. Always confirm your service manual or measure the nut before you crank down. If you're working on a mixed fleet, you may want the full injector line socket set to cover other sizes. For many light-duty diesels, though, 19mm is the money size. Torque behavior is predictable. With a decent 3/8 ratchet, you can break loose stubborn nuts without shatter. On reassembly, they works fine with the 3/8 torque wrench, so you can hit the specified injector line torque and avoid leaks. The socket's depth is enough to clear the protruding line flare so the hex doesn't ride up and strip. I prefer steady pressure and a straight pull to keep side load off the line. If corrosion is heavy, soak and crack the nut in small moves to protect the sealing surfaces. Access is where this shines. The thin wall lets you work between the rail and valve cover, and the overall length isn't excessive, so it won't bottom out on surrounding parts. You can pair it with a short wobble extension when the ratchet can't sit square. It also plays well with the crow's foot torque method if your torque wrench can't line up straight, but keep the angle consistent to avoid skewing the reading. In most bays, a compact 3/8 stubby ratchet plus this socket gets the job done cleanly. Let's talk materials and finish. Expect hardened steel that resists rounding the hex under load. The finish wipes clean and doesn't chip easily. After a few jobs, mine shows light polish marks but no deformation. If you see any hairline cracks after a hard break loose, retire it. High-pressure lines are not the place for questionable tools. Store it in a dry tray. Rust pitting on the thin wall is what kills thin wall sockets first. Pros are straightforward. Proper 19mm sizing for injector nuts. Thin wall access without feeling flimsy. Clean internal broach for strong contact. Compact 3/8 drive that fits where 1/2 inch won't. Plays nice with torque spec work so you're not guessing. Good price compared to branded dealer tools, and it's cheaper than replacing a rounded nut or a bent line. There are cons you should know. It's a single-size tool, so it won't help on platforms that use 17mm, 21mm, or specialty crowfoot patterns. If you expect to battle severe Rust Belt trucks, A full flare nut crowfoot set plus heat may be safer for first break loose. Thin wall means you shouldn't use cheater bars or impact guns. It's not designed as an impact socket. If the nut is already chewed up, stop and address that before applying more force. Who is it for? DIY diesel owners doing injector replacement, leak checks, or line reseals. Mobile techs who need a compact, inexpensive socket that just works. Shop mechanics who want a dedicated 19mm line tool for common rail service without buying a whole boutique kit. If you only work on gas port injection engines, you probably don't need this at all. Practical tips. Label it clearly so it doesn't get mixed with standard 19mm sockets. Keep a small brass brush and clean rag handy to tidy the nut and line before removal. Cap open lines during service to keep dust out. Always torque to spec on reassembly and recheck for weeping after the first heat cycle. If the socket starts to slip, stop and reassess alignment. Do not force it. Bottom line, this 19mm high-pressure fuel line socket does what it claims. It reaches tight injector nuts, grips well, and keeps your work tidy. It isn't magic, but it saves time, knuckles, and fittings. If your engine uses 19mm injector line nuts, this is a smart, low-cost add to your box. If your platform uses a different size, get the correct one or a set. If this helped, subscribe and hit like so more people see it.